Peace. Hi, it's Heart Love. Welcome to the YouTube live book reading of Animal Speak by Ted Andrews. Learn the language of animals, the spiritual and magical powers of creatures great and small. I'm your moderator and narrator, Uriel Riley. Thank you so much for being here. And we pick up Chapter 4, page 43. Reading signs. Animals speak. Reading signs and ecology is the study of the interaction between living things and their environments. We can never truly separate ourselves from the environment, but we can learn to read it so that we can use the knowledge of it for our benefit. The ability to read nature is what enables us to recognize true omens within our life. An omen is an event which may indicate a particular destiny. People from around the world have believed in omens at some point. They have held strong the idea that the changing aspects of nature reflect changes that are likely to occur within our own life. This is connected to the ancient law of correspondence we discussed earlier. What affects us on one level affects us on another. The divine forces speak to humanity through nature and its varied expressions. Omens border upon an instinctual perception and innate resonance with natural elements that we do not consciously recognize or acknowledge anymore. As you develop animal speak, you will begin to see relationships and patterns in nature and animal behaviors, along with their correspondence to your life. You will know automatically that certain birds or animals are likely to be seen daily. We you will come to expect certain kinds of behaviors from them because of what you have come to learn of them, including their natural behaviors, sounds, rhythms, and activities. Peace, everyone. Welcome to the live YouTube book reading of Animal Speak by the master Ted Andrews. We're now in chapter 4. The difficulty, though, is being able to define, explain, and apply the omen of nature to your individual life. For this to be effective, you must be knowledgeable about your environment and the animals within it. You must develop practice in seeing relationships without forcing the correspondences. You must begin to recognize that nothing is by accident or coincidence, that all things, all people, all animals have significance to us. You must be able to recognize that the supernatural world often reflects itself within the natural world. Thank you for the likes and subs. Hi, it's Heart Love. We're reading Animal Speak on this corner of YouTube where we read books and learn from masters. Hi, it's Heart Love. It is easy to become superstitious in reading the signs of nature within your life. Most people see omens and superstitions as the same thing. The reading of omens is founded upon a knowledge base of the environment and the animals and other natural elements within it. The changing aspects of the normal, natural elements in your environment can then reflect changes in other areas of your life. The changes are interpreted from a strong knowledge base and with reason. Remember that correspondences in reading the signs of nature do not need to be forced when there is a solid base of knowledge. They reveal themselves naturally. Superstitions, on the other hand, are beliefs or notions in the significance of an event or thing that is not based upon knowledge or reason. Superstitions often involve irrational fears and behaviors, and correspondences between natural elements and one's life are not formed from a base of knowledge. Here's a superstition, and we're going to go with this next part. It says Valentine's superstition. Valentine's Day superstition. We're at the bottom and middle of page 44 on Animal Speak. It was often believed that a woman could determine the kind of man she would marry by the first bird she saw on Valentine's Day. The correspondence follows. Blackbird equals a priest, a clergyman, or a religious figure. Dove equals a good hearted man. Goldfinch, especially a yellow goldfinch, which is New Jersey's bird. A rich man, especially if it's a yellow goldfinch. A sparrow equals a happy man. A hawk equals a soldier, a warrior, or a brave man. A crossbill equals an argumentative or bad-tempered man. A robin equals a sailor. A bluebird equals a happy man. An owl equals a man who will not live long. And a woodpecker equals the woman will never marry. These are superstitions and not true omens. A thorough knowledge of the birds in the individual's environment may prove that there is a greater likelihood to encounter certain birds every day, while never encountering others. An unusual or untoward behavior of a bird may provide indication of something unusual in the offing, but would not indicate one's future mate. Such beliefs, though, can be amusing entertainment and add fanciful fun to days like Valentine's Day. Page 45 of Animal Speak. Thank you guys for the likes and subscribes. Hi, it's Heart Love. Thank you for being here. The best example to define the difference between omens and superstitions can be found in the behavior of the short-eared owl. Communities and societies often experience times in which rodent and other prey populations erupt. In some localities, voles, meadow mice suddenly erupt and seem to overrun the place. Such times were often depicted as unfortunate, evil, and even outright plagues. This perception of evil manifesting through an overpopulation of rodents was further augmented in places where overnight a horde of short-eared owls would also seem to materialize out of nowhere. For the superstitious person, one with no knowledge base, this may appear to be an extraordinary revelation of evil from nature, especially so since both rodents and owls have a long history of being perceived negatively. For those who have a good knowledge base of both of these animals, the interpretation would be entirely different. Many predator and prey species have years in which populations plummet and years in which populations erupt. Many rodents are subject to boom bust cycles for their natural predators. This cycle is often matched. Short eared owls have an instinctual knack for appearing overnight in a horde to descend upon abundant food sources. Such appearances are not reflections of evil manifesting. Rather, their appearance serves as a boon to help restore the balance of nature. This is so good. Thank you guys for reading. Thank you so much. Highest heart love. This ability is shared by other birds. The California gull, the species the Mormons of Salt Lake City memorialized in marble for saving their a cricket plague, has it. A few years ago, voles swarmed over Amherst Island on Lake Ontario. Short-eareds by the dozens poured in out of the void. More amazingly, they brought along a retinue, great gray owls, snowy owls, hawk owls, boreal owls, and saw-whet owls in unprecedented numbers. Correspondences will naturally deepen as your own knowledge base grows. The relationships between what you are experiencing in nature and what you are experiencing in your own life do not need to be forced. You must be careful of not allowing your desire to divine the future to override common sense. Although it is usually safe to assume that the events within nature can and do reflect something about the events within your own life, only a true knowledge base will allow those mirrors to be clear. The most common misinterpretations occur because of your own fears. In the case of the boom in the vole population and the appearance overnight of short-eared owls, some may begin to believe that their life is about to be overrun with pests. Since even today many harbor the ancient superstitions of the owl as an evil agent of the devil, the perception that their life is about to be plagued is what will be assumed. In truth, the exact opposite would be a more correct interpretation. The abundance of both voles and owls reflects a cycle of boom beginning to manifest, a boom that has balance to it. But this kind of interpretive ability only comes with knowledge. To one who is knowledgeable or takes time to learn about it what is being observed, the natural world can shed light on most life circumstances. Highest heart love. Thank you. Welcome for reading books with us on this corner of YouTube. We are reading Master Ted Andrews' Animal Speak. We are now on to page 46. Many want to see every expression of nature as a supernatural sign. The events and observations that are unusual, out of the context of normal patterns, or not part of your daily contact, will often have the most significance for you. These kinds of circumstances will speak most strongly. As you begin to study and observe nature within your life, you must learn of its usual manifestations and patterns. Note the kinds of animals you encounter and their usual behaviors. The more you learn of the usual, the easier it will be for you to recognize the unusual, no matter how subtle. When something is different, then nature is calling to you to pay attention. Animal speak requires that you realize nature most often speaks to you in a natural manner. A person who wishes to get a message across uses a variety of techniques, language, vocal, and facial expressions, tonality, volume, etc. If the message is an important one, the voice takes on a different tone, one of urgency or tension. You know the message is important because the tone of voice is not the usual. Nature and animals in nature speak to us in the same manner. If the is important, the expression of nature will take on noticeable, although often subtle, expressions. Thank you so much, guys. So much love. Highest heart love to all the honorable people. Highest heart love. You guys are lovely. Thank you for reading with us. Thank you for keeping the chat clean to my moderators. Highest heart love. We're in the middle of page 46. Reading animal signs. Nature speaks to us constantly through its shapes, colors, textures, smells, and varied expressions of animal life. It communicates to us about the world and our life. The symbolism of nature will vary according to its context, so you must come to know its natural context. Every animal has distinguishing features, movements, shapes, and colors. Each has its own unique relationship with humans. A good number of these are outlined for you in the dictionaries found within this book, but they are guidelines only. You must develop our own dictionary. You must develop your own dictionary, just as different groups of people who speak the same language may have different dialects and accents. It is the same with you must learn the dialect that is best for. I love to communicate with birds whistling. Hi, so I love guys. Thank you so much for reading Animal Speak with us. We're at the bottom of page 46. In ancient Rome, certain officials were charged with observing and interpreting natural omens for guidance in public affairs. These individuals were known as augurs. Julius Caesar was a respected augur. Although originally augurs were bird talk experts who listened to what birds said, the term eventually came to be applied to anyone who used animals and their language for divination purposes. A particular branch of this came to be known as auspices in ancient Rome. Auspices was a method of reading the future in the activities of birds and animals. Thank you guys. This is so good, right? So good. Man, this is so good. In ancient Rome, certain officials were charged with observing and interpreting natural omens for guidance in public affairs. These individuals were known as augurs. like I said, although originally augurs were bird talk experts who listened to what birds said, the term eventually came to be applied to anyone who used animals and their language for divination purposes. A particular branch of this came to be known as the auspices in ancient Rome. Auspices particular was a method of reading the future in activities of birds and animals. The ancient augurs studied nature. They learned to read her signs and to understand her language. Every augur had his or her own specialty, some working with birds and some with other animals and expressions of nature. Regardless of the area of expertise, each augur had to come to terms and develop a new understanding of nature. If you are to learn animal speak and develop your own ability for augury, you must lay a new foundation for relating to nature. Nature speaks every day, but few ever truly listen. If you were speaking to someone and they never acknowledged it, soon you would quit speaking to them entirely. If you truly If you truly wish to learn animal speak, you must reestablish the lines of communication with nature. You must let it know you are ready to listen once more. There are 10 related steps to facilitate your ability to reopen communication and to develop augury. They are simple and can be applied within any living environment: swamp, city, forest, mountain, river, farmlands, farm fields, grasslands, etc. By consciously working with them, you will send a message to the universe and especially to all of nature that you are now open to receive communication. And all it takes to hear what nature has to say is to be open to listening. These 10 steps are: 1. Experience nature firsthand. Take walks in the woods or parks. Take binoculars to the beach. Seek out marshlands. Don't assume that your environment is without nature's elements. Try to identify birds by their calls. Try to identify different trees by their leaves. 2. Begin with an examination of the wildlife endemic to your environment. The plants, trees, and animals of your environment have much to teach you about survival. Although some may feel that the expressions of nature within the city are nothing to shout about, a chipmunk can be quite as remarkable as a grizzly. Trees and flowers have long been symbols of mysticism and magic, each with its own qualities and characteristics. On the following 2 pages are lists of trees and flowers with the basic characteristics associated with them. For further information, you may wish to consult an earlier work of mine, The Magical Name. 3. Orient yourself to your landscape. As you will see in Chapter 5, the landscape can reveal much. It can be as symbolic as the animal life within it. Look at the spatial symbolism of your yard or home. What does its shape say about you? What is the form or pattern of the terrain? Does it appear soft to the eye, hard, broken, sloped? Ask yourself, What kind of qualities are necessary to live in such a terrain? 4. Pay closer attention to physical signs of nature. These were often considered the most important elements of augury, and they can be powerful fetishes. The three most common signs read by ancient augurs were: A. Appearances of birds and animals. B. The feathers, fur, stones, or any physical fetish. And the calls. C. The calls, chatter, and other sounds of animals. Pay attention to when they are most noticeable and where. 5. When you are out in nature, pay attention to what seems to stand out most strongly. Some days are particularly flowery, fragrance may stand out. On other days, it may be the continual cawing of crows. On another, you may notice a particular tree. That which you most notice when out in nature has spoken to you. Take note of it, greet it, acknowledge it, then research it. What are the qualities and characteristics associated with it? These qualities will either reflect those awakening within you or those you may need to awaken. Ask yourself, where can I apply these qualities? What are they saying about me in my life? We'll pause right here on page 48 at the top before we go into the symbolic qualities of trees. We're reading Animal Speak. We're in the 4th chapter. I'm your moderator and narrator, Uriel Neville Riley, master fitness trainer and master poet, and father to a daughter. I want to say happy Mother's Day to all mothers out there. Highest heart love. Thank you so much for being honorable people. I want to give another shout out to MJ Toscanos. The highest heart love. Thank you so much for recycling here in LA. We keep our environment clean. We keep everything around us as clean as possible, right? Cleanliness is divinity. Much honor and love to all the mothers, and a special shout out as well to one of my moderators. Thank you so much. Oh, highest heart love. Thank you. Thank you. Breeze, I wanted to say happy solar return. Happy full moon coming up this evening. I want you to have a wonderful Saturday and Sunday. I will see you soon with chapter 4 completion of Animal Speak. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you for the likes and subs. Trying to 500 subs, guys. Thank you for honorable people. Much love.